So welcome back to the channel. So after last week we baked our little avocado and blueberry cake, I was thinking what else can we incorporate avocado into? And interestingly, I came up with brioche dough. I personally like brioche a lot. It's a very versatile dough. You can make many different things with brioche dough, right? You can make it sweet, you can make it savory. This is the basic dough. You can put some cinnamon sugar inside, some chocolate, some nuts, any kind of thing, jam in the inside. You can roll it up, bake a brioche dough. You can also make hamburger buns with brioche dough. So I was thinking this is gonna be an excellent time to see, in fact, we can incorporate avocado into a yeasted dough. And the answer is yes, we can. Today's inspiration actually came from one of my favorite pastry chefs. Her name is Claire Saffitz. So we got this recipe from her book. And what we are going to do, we're just gonna take her recipe as an inspiration and obviously replace the butter with avocado in ours. This particular recipe gets quite a bit of butter. One stick of butter actually has around 810 calories and quite a bit of cholesterol. And avocado, if you watched this channel and you saw my last episode or the avocado versus butter episode, avocado has no bad cholesterol. And only 1 cup of avocado only has 234 calories, which is a quarter less. It's quite a bit less, and it has the good fats we need to consume for our health. I'm gonna walk you through the process today. I'm gonna show you how to mix this dough and how to incorporate the avocado at the end, like you would do with butter. So this is gonna be, I think, a fun little recipe, a fun little episode. So if you guys ready, let's start. Let's begin. Okay, so let's start with our yeast and milk mixture. So I have here 1 ounce of milk, and I am going to add about a half of a teaspoon of yeast. This is warm milk, like about 105 degrees. So I'm gonna add my little yeast in here. We're just gonna incorporate it. We're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes until it starts foaming up. And then we're gonna add it into our flour. And we're gonna wait about 5 minutes until it starts foaming up. And then we will incorporate it into our flour. The next thing what we are going to do, we're gonna mix our dry ingredients. So I have my mixing bowl here. To this, I'm gonna add 260 grams of all-purpose flour. I'm just gonna kind of dump it in here. So to this, I'm gonna add 3 grams of kosher salt and 25 grams of sugar. Okay, so we're going to mix this real well. While we wait for our yeast to foam up, we're just gonna mix our flour, sugar, and salt. I just made a little well in the middle of my flour. To this, we're gonna dump our milk and yeast mixture and 3 whole eggs. It looks like our yeast and milk mixture is ready to go. So I am going to dump it into the middle of my flour, followed by 3 whole eggs. So now we're gonna dump the eggs. So now we are gonna mix our dough. We're gonna attach the hook attachment, and we are gonna start mixing the dough on low speed at first for like about 1 minute. After that, we are going to increase the speed to medium, and we are going to mix our dough for like about 5, 6, maybe 8 minutes until it all comes together. The dough is not sticking to the sides of the mixing bowl and no flour left. Okay, let's do this. So I am gonna attach my bowl and the hook attachment. And I am going to start mixing on low speed. So after about a minute, we are going to move our flour a little bit to help the dough incorporate, have the machine incorporate. I am going to scrape the flour down a little bit. And continue mixing. So now at this stage, we are going to start incorporating our avocado into the dough. Just like you would do with butter, we are going to take little chunks of it and we are going to add it to the dough while the mixer is running on medium speed. It may take even as long as 15 minutes for it to incorporate entirely. So just keep adding it in slow portions until it runs out. Okay, so now dough is mixed up, so we're gonna put it in the refrigerator and we're gonna proof it overnight. That is actually gonna enhance the flavor. It's gonna taste a lot more rich, flavorful. So let me show you how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna remove it from the machine. Just gonna scrape up the dough off the hook. So as you guys can see, I have a quite sticky dough, but that means that we did a good job. This is what we're supposed to have. I'm just gonna lightly flour it in the bowl, sprinkle it with some flour on the sides and on top, and you're just gonna move it into the fridge overnight. Take a little bit of flour, and I'm just gonna sprinkle on top and around the sides. And into the fridge it goes. Okay, so I made this dough last night just to show you guys, since our dough has to sit in the fridge for 8 to 24 hours or overnight. We're gonna roll this out, form our brioche loaf, put it in our prepared pan, which I already prepared. I put parchment paper and I oiled it a little bit, and I'm gonna show you how you roll it out, form the loaf, and we're gonna let it rise for an hour and 15 minutes. We're gonna lightly flour our work surface. I'm gonna show you how to form the loaf, and we're gonna move it into our prepared pan. Okay, so first things first, I am going to just lightly flour my cutting board. Okay, just like so, and I am going to scrape out my dough and move it onto my work surface. Okay, like so. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we're gonna form an 8x6 rectangle. I'm gonna show you. Basically, you're just gonna take the ball of your hand and basically we're just gonna kind of press it out, forming an 8x6 rectangle. If you need a little bit more flour, obviously you can flour your dough so it's not gonna be sticking. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of deflate our dough using our hand, ball of our hand, and we're just gonna sort of form an 8x6 rectangle, just about the size of our baking pan, which is an 8x4 baking pan. Okay, so now that I rolled out our dough, rolled it out to an 8x6 rectangle, now I am going to roll it from the longer side. You can help it with your dough scraper and sort of start rolling it. So now that I have my dough rolled up, now we are going to move it into our baking pan. Sticking a little bit. So now I'm gonna move it into our pan. It doesn't look as beautiful as I wanted it to on top, but there we go. So now drop it into our prepared pan. I have here my kitchen towel and I'm going to cover our loaf and see you guys back in an hour and a half at 15 minutes. Start the timer. We've waited an hour and 15 minutes and our cake is ready to go in the oven. So what I'm going to do at this point, I am going to brush it with a little bit of heavy cream. So usually people brush brioches with egg yolk or beaten egg. Let's take a look what it looks like. Okay, so it looks like it puffed up pretty nicely. It filled out all the corners of my baking pan. And so what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna quickly brush it and we're gonna put it in our oven, which is set to 350. So I do not like the eggy taste so much. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna brush this loaf in particular with some heavy cream, which also gives it a nice little golden crust, but it won't be so shiny. Make sure not to deflate the dough, not to push down hard, just sort of brush very lightly on top. And also if you have a little bit of cream running down the sides, that's fine as well, because it's all gonna bake into the loaf, so that's not a biggie. Okay, so just keep brushing until the entire surface of the brioche is covered. Now we're ready to go ahead and put it in the oven, which is set to 350. So let's do that. Okay, so now that we put it in the oven, we're gonna wait 30 to 35 minutes until it's done. After that, I'm gonna cake test it and we're gonna make sure that it's baked throughout. We're gonna take it out of the pan and I'm excited to see the result. Let's see the big reveal. So as you guys can see, here is our baked brioche loaf. And I cannot even tell you how excited I am with the end result, how it turned out to be. I mean, this looks amazing. I mean, this looks everything I wanted, everything what it should look like. I mean, it smells wonderful, it looks wonderful, and this is a proper brioche loaf. And I guess we have nothing else left but cut into it. Look at this, guys. I mean, just all angles. It puffed up wonderfully. It looks like what it's supposed to. I mean, I am very thrilled with the result. Let's just take a little bite of it and see what it tastes like. It's just wonderful. And this is everything what a brioche should taste like. I love it. I really love it. I can really say that you guys should really make this. Try it out. Leave me some comments if you guys made it. How did you guys like it? How do you like the avocado brioche loaf? The process, everything. So if you guys like this recipe and if you guys like this avocado brioche loaf, hit the like button. If you want to see more avocado recipes in the future, hit the subscribe button. Until then, be safe. See you next time. Bye-bye.